Oh, look.
Right, if I can ask you all to mute so we don't get no interference background. Thank you so much. Right, welcome to everybody again. Obviously not one last week. I've missed it, to tell you the truth. There's a few people been unwell with either flu or COVID, or even like my missus, the vaccination for the flu and the COVID, and the side effects have knocked them really flying. And there was a couple more Zoomers and all, so I'm hoping I'm getting there slowly. Right, front picture, families, love, great Eve. My wife and I started to role play in the bedroom. Her favourite is Sexy Librarian, where I have to sit quietly while she reads a book. Anybody else like that?
Yep.
Right, back garden. This is my raised bed. Now I'm preparing for next year, so I'm getting everything out, bulbs and whatever. Freezers, these little chaps. I don't want them left in. Obviously, if I was all prepared, then I might leave them in. But as you can see from that photo, I say it every year, the raised beds, and if you grow anything in a pot, they drop down with a compaction of rain, and you can see how much this raised bed has dropped down. Obviously, it's over a year, but it's compact that much, so I've got to build that up. So if I do leave these in, they ain't gonna come so high before they flower, which ain't no good for me, so I'm getting them all up. These three are staying in there, obviously, and all my bits and pieces, which I'm getting out to fill it up. So that first lot, if you remember all my Gladio-like cormets, I used multi-purpose compost in 5-7 litre pots and whatever. When I collected all that spent peat, spent compost, that was all bagged up, and this lot has gone on there. Plus there's worm casts, spent mushroom compost, leaf mould, and the last one over here, this is wood burner ash. There's also sand from me growing cabinet, which used to be in the loft. If you remember, I had a 4-foot square base, and that had sand on it with a soil warming cable in the middle of the sand to give me bottom heat, which worked excellent. But gotta get rid of the sand. Natural product, so I just mix it with everything else. Perfect. Somehow there's a few photos on here blurred. I thought I was quite still when I took them, but you just have to bear with. So all I'm doing is hand forking everything, mixing it together. And this one is 2 bags of clover, multi-purpose compost. That's going on as well.
Big Ben was one of the most famous buildings in the entire world. And they were decapitating.
Somebody mute has just come on. Talk. Right, so my freezers I've got there. These lot, if you remember the 2 raised beds, patio, I've filled them with bulbs, and these were the spares, so these are going out as well.
The bus through it can be taken apart.
Someone's got the TV on or background music.
Yes, mate.
So these are going to get placed out by labels all around. Different bulbs, different depths. I'm trying to keep to that. I don't want something to flower an inch above the what's this? I'll try and do it as best I can. And then the dogs are freezers. Bunged them out as well. And these lot go down the bottom. I've got bulbs in there. There'll be some sneaking as well. It's only one of each. Right, my compost bin. Don't forget, I've only got one bin now in between my greenhouse and my trellis. But I need some more compost out. Worms, that's what I want to say. But all these will be legging it up, looking for fresh food. There's still a few in there. There's still a few big lumps in there, so I shall spread it out and then pick them out once I've spread it out. And I've emptied quite a bit out of there, so I've had at least 5 bowls so far. Spread it out with a fork. Well, there's the hole. So I've took quite a bit out of that bottom. So now I've got to cave that in so it'll get in. And all the bits from the top dressing itself, I've just put on. The big lumps, I'll pick them up obviously and put them back in the compost. Give it a watering if it needs it, which it did. Right, that's brought the level up quite nicely. Still not right to the top. What it'll do for now. And then extras I've put on as well. Something else as a top dressing was rock dust, shredded seaweed, dried seaweed, and spent coffee grounds. As you can see them are added there. That was just because it was sprinkled all over as a light dressing. I shall let nature take that down. I ain't going to fold that in. Because we've got squirrels and cats about, got rid of my fox, luckily. Cleared him off, he got nowhere to dig. And I don't want to give him this chance of digging here as well. But the squirrel's been in all my little pots at the bottom, and some of my small pots with blueberries in, bearing his nuts. So I've covered this lot as well, hoping to keep them out of there. One raised bed that ain't got nothing on. This will be me, might be my sweet pea bed next year. It was that chap, when I was looking into sweet peas, was had them introduced in for our show next year. And I got one of the top chaps on the internet, obviously a Sweet Pea Society Facebook group, and I was racking his brains. Told him I got a raised bed. He says exhibition sweet peas don't do any good in raised beds. So I'm a trial and error man. I moved from the small new raised bed into this one, because that new one I've made obviously is a bit light. It's not matured, but this bed is matured. So I've only dug down this with a hand fork, so it's nice and solid underneath. So I'm using this as a sweet pea bed. So to look after him, I've got a top dressing obviously. So rabbit manure again. This is dry, as you can see, so all I'm doing is picking that out by a double handful and then rubbing it. So I'm opening it up. There's no big lumps, because there are some solid lumps of just rabbit muck. But I want to spread it out evenly. I don't want any big dollops in there. So that's what I'm doing with that. And you see I took 3 bags. Do that. But once it's done, you will then have a good watering. Right, bougainvillea is doing well in the greenhouse, and so is everything else. This was before the frosts. I think we're on our 4th day today of the hard frosts. We had a little flicker of snow when I took the hound out this morning, but 5 minutes it had gone. Raspberries, this was last week. Still picking them. Strawberries about it. I've cut them off now. But there's still flowers on, and there is now, although the frost has jobbed them. Well, it's jobbed the flowers and all. On the front, alstrameria, because I'm up against the wall and they get the sun on a morning if the sun's out, then these have got protection, so they're still doing well. This alstrameria was a dwarf blue one. He ain't doing very well up that corner, and I want him anyway for the raised bed, top of the garden. It was the dwarfs I bought last year. 3 new ones. 2 was a dwarf, 1 was a tall one. So they ripped me off there. So I want to replace this and one of the big ones. So I've got as much up as I can. And I'm going to transfer it in. Bung him in a pot. I was going to bung him in there, but I dig enough root up, so it'll go in that one. This will just be putting over in the greenhouse, cold greenhouse, just over winter, just to look after them. So a bit of compost in the bottom of the pot. Hold him in upright, and then cover it round. There's the ones I sent for from my mate, and all them should have been large alstrameria as well. And there's that one there, you can tell by the dark leaf, these are dwarfing. So that was with another reputable company, so I'm hopefully trying it on. Yeah, you can see it better now. You can tell he's a dwarf. He's as leggy as these lot. And there's the one I had about halfway through the season. That was a dwarf as well. So I've got 3 to go through. And Scott, there's our flower. Our plant is nearly in bloody flower. But he's had a check now. We're off up and don't know what the hell's going on. So there's these 2 I've had out the raised bed, and the 1 I've had from out the front. I'm going to sort them out ready for next year. Potting on the smaller ones and giving them a good watering. And these lot need potting on as well, because the roots coming out the bottom. So that's what we'll be doing. Obviously he's telling you, pop me on until I've used my own compost, because there's one of my little babies coming out. There's another one, he'll be bunged in there and then weighted. Right, clover compost, put a fistful of vermiculite in as well. Put my pot in what he's just come out of. Bung him in. And then I just firm it in round the outside. I don't push the plant right down. Just firm around the outside, then put some more compost in if it needs it. Because this was last week, we had a nice sunny day. If the water's a bit cold in the greenhouse, it weren't too bad then, because we hadn't had any frosty nights. But if it was cold, then I'll put a bit of warm water in. I don't want to give him a check in growth, because I've just had a check. I don't want to give him too many checks. We're back on in. So slowly we're filling up. Don't forget there'll be no heat on in this greenhouse over winter. Right, me raised bed, last raised bed what I did for me sweet peas, exhibition sweet peas, the side of the house, because I ain't now growing, well, I'm not using it for sweet peas. I've got a spare bed, so I'm going to take these out. The golden raspberries, and I'm going to transfer them. So that's the bed I prepared for it. Was that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? You can see how much he drops as well. That's in just 3 weeks. So I'm taking the top dressing off, what I put on. Right, he's ready. Just make an hole out for the chaps. and get them up one by one, as much as the compost as I can. Get him nice and upright, same level as what he was up top. So I'm getting 5 in here. I think this is I think I'm 21 inches apart. Firm them in nice and upright. 12 inches apart, sorry. 21, yeah, 2 on them. I knew I'd had 21 somewhere. So I'm just working my way along, another 3 to get out there. Right, we've got them in. So that compost is laid back on there as a top dressing. This one, unsure yet. If I run out of room to do exhibition sweet peas, I might use these 3 as well. See how we do. Things might change. So you got to top dress this one. During the week, which we'll come on to, it was World Soil Day. We'll come on to that later on. But while I was got onto that, there was loads of stuff I was reading. And I use Epsom salts on before I get down the shed. Use a fistful on my fruit trees twice a year and always come thalia feeds. But I also read if you transplant anything, because they might get a checking growth, if you give them Epsom salts, it helps the roots to take hold quicker, gives them a pick me up. So I'll pump some of that in your watering can. As you see, I've had to put that on by hand. I didn't know how to do it by proper typing. Long shall learn, don't matter. So then I've had obviously it's got to be warm water anyway in my jug, just to because I'm crystallized Epsom salts, just to break them up. And this was just tepid water, not cold. So I'll give them a good watering to look after them. So now, because this was from last year, all I had was that one raised bed there. Now I've got 2, so them going to move down to there in a bit or later. Where am I? 8 ounce onions, brown bear. Still got a few of them left if anybody's interested. Plus my large exhibition seed, the show onions. I've got some of them. Just give piece of kick if you want any. Right, my line I got up. I remember I had this up for my rolling beans last year, just to hold the canes up, which worked. But if you have a close up on that bit there, someone's come across it, probably a squirrel, tap dancing, started chewing me bloody strapper. So I've got to renew him. So this is right up the other end. There's nobody in next door. But I'd rather be vacant than have a neighbour from hell. So I'm just legging it straight in there. I'm after a thick, because this is privet obviously, I'm after a thick privet to tie this wire to the 8-foot cane, meaning if I was just to pull that on there, to pull the cane through. So I want that solid as a ferret. That's looking in, obviously that's in focus, but that's a nice thick one. So I've tied him in wire just to keep him nice and upright, which he is. Then I'll tie that end on, round turn 2 half inches, because I'm at its mat line, and he's gone straight the way across. And that cane is put in the outside of that raised bed. He's gone in the ground about 2 foot, and he's right in the middle of these trays. But it's gone right to the end there, meaning if I need to, I mean these should be alright. I don't stake the fruit trees or nothing. You're supposed to stake them until they get established. if they do start moving, and I'll just tie them to something loosely so they don't rock. But I might utilise that. Well, we'll utilise it later on. Right, looking at these here while I was down there, looking at my fruit. There's a first tree that I've done earlier on. That's my first one I potted up, my fruit tree. And you can see how much he's dropped down. Obviously, when I potted these up, that was all top level. So he dropped over a quarter. You take quite a third, and then the others ain't dropped so much. So there was the later ones. So that's just in one pot. But these lot will be going out in the raised bed anyway, into an established raised bed. The start of next year, and they start kicking back into life. Right, the pom-pom, the red pom-pom, dahlia, he was pushing this wall out. How long had it been there? I think about in 5 years, I think. There's one at the top, which is here, and there's one right at the bottom, same side. But you can see he's pushing the wall out. So I've got to get him up anyway, to move him and split him, because you're getting quite big. So all the way around, just loosen everything until I've been all the way around, and then just lifting him out. This was something I did for Ben. This is just up the road from us, Walnut Street, because he'd done pictures for him, so I had to do a bit of film for him so he could promote it. Obviously promote the premises and his drawings. So this is the Why Not Inn. This is a cul-de-sac, quaint little old bouger. He's got a new couple in, took over. And you can take dogs in and all. Obviously they do grub dinners. Chip dinners on him, fibre, I'm a pensioner. But I had to go up and see the wench before they're opened. I used to be a dartboard years ago when I played darts. So the first picture he's done for him is the Black Country, so I got that one in. As we turn round, there's another two there. I think until he does another one, there's got 3 of them, of the local ones. Obviously a bit of a reflection on the glass. And that's the cradley one. Obviously that wall talking on it. And the bar itself, that's a restaurant side there. I just ended on the Banks's beer. Beautiful pint. Used to drink that as a kid, Banks's Mild, Boston. That's that bid for him. Right, if you remember when I went away with mate, with the women for the weekend, 60s weekend, and I borrowed the wine bottles because they was clear and they was white. Because them costing £1.50 each from Wilco. Bought them back. 6 months ago, if I went into a brewery shop, I could get corks and those black tops, white or red, and I used to have a bag of each, meaning they were just slightly different sizes. And now the only ones you can get are black corks. Of course the bloody corks they fit, didn't they? I thought bugger, so I've had to put them in the recycling. So that day worked. Right, back to me dahlia. Need them splitting, so straight down the middle, sharp spade. Right, I've got to sort my wall out. You can see there, obviously I ain't touched in. All I've done is scrape the saw back into this look, so that's how much it's gone over. I'm going to offer these to these 2 wenches joined our gardening club last year, and they showed interest, and I've dragged them onto the committee. So as a thank you, I want to offer them one of these each. So they've both got an allotment. It's just to try to get them to enter into our show. Obviously use it for the shows as well. So reading up on these as well. I put these on the side. If there's any moisture in it, whatever, then drains out. But I've seen quite a few photos, people taking them up and them just leaving them upright in the trays. I suppose people trial and whatever, and they just, if it works for them, then they're going to do it either. Right, my grape is still, this is last week, don't forget, he's still shooting up, meaning I've got to get up there and tie him down. So that's what I've done there. See the dew on the top of there. Use quite this bit of this up at the back garden from is it Stacks? Mucklow Hill. Good crap. It's off quick, you gotta use it, so I'll use a bit of time. So I'll get to my walk, take all the bricks out, then a lot of clean. These have all got the same amount of crap on the bottom, giving me the same height, so I've left it on there. When I was in the shed looking for me bits and pieces, I come across this Huff and All. That's the meal and that's the powder. This has been in there. Gordon Benny. It's got to be 30 odd here. Might be over. Yeah, about 30 a year old. We used to have a button factory in our zone. Groves' button factory. And inspecting the place, using the fire service. We did all the fire prevention then. And we go to different premises, perks. Because I know Huff and All, which is what they use, they make buttons. And the knobs, top of walking sticks, there's loads of things they make. Of course, off all the powder they get, the offcuts, whatever, and flog it chip. And these 2 tubs, which I used to take down and fill up. I think it's £1 a tub or something. Then I found these out, so that's a good brew. All the old used to use that. Right, my brickwork, I've done that top bit there. And I've also now started filling in the gaps back and tops and side. And this lot as well. I ain't too fussed about what it looks like. Because eventually that wall will be walloped the same as the fence. While I was doing this, I noticed there, that's dropped as well. When my 2 grapevines buried outside, going inside the tunnel. One there and there's one there. That top dressing has dropped as well. So I fill that with one of my new hamster muck. Of me mate. There's a good one. Hound on the morning. Nice bit of colour. I thought that would make a good photo with Russian. Monday morning, still chopping. Alstrameria, there's quite a few now getting cold. The couple of the tops are starting going rotten. If I'm rotten, I'll put them in the bin. If they ain't, was this green, just chop it up. Smaller the better. Carbon, black and white, nothing coloured. Plus your egg boxes. There's my egg shells. Alfalfa pellets, powder form. Mix everything up. Then all my other ingredients put in. This is me mucks I've had. This is the last of the giant tortoise. And the dried shredded goat muck. Beautiful view. Bung it in. Water it. And the 2 bits of carpet. Put the lid on. If I'm getting fed up with this, it's because somebody's asked me for a quick sesh, a new one. Right, my 2 dahlias which I had off Scott start of the year. I chuffed with these, first cutting I've ever took. And 2 pump, that's all I wanted, but they've done well. And nice and thick, nice and strong. So them two will go in again exactly the same place for next year because they work well. This little chap, is it Leander, something like that. He's just about to open when he pretty late, but the cold stopped him now. But at least I know I ain't lost him, because last year both of them give me no flowers. At the bottom one, binned him. When I committee meeting last week, the new schedule come out, and we all had to go through it. And the extra ones we put in was in yellow. So originally all we had in the show was a vase of 6 week for sweet peas, any type of variety. So we've also introduced old fashioned scented, one colour scented mix, one single blue. Right, that wall obviously, yeah, level because of the slope of the garden. So I've got to get that the same level as this wall, if that makes sense. So I'll put my spirit level on. There's the level bit. Well, for this wall, not level, but that's where my bubble is. So I marked it with a felt pen. So when I put the spirit level on the bottom wall, I've got to get that bubble right in the middle of my 2 marks. Then I know that wall is the same level as this one. You know, tell this before we've had the frost, because these are still growing away nicely. New shoots from the bottom on all of them. Right, looking at everything, top dressing. These have dropped down as well. So I'm picking all the crap what's dropped off these. These are still budding and flowering, all my rows. As you can see, there's a nice one just about to open. There's a few more on there. There's one half open. It's loopy weather, or it was. Sorting out now. That's how loopy it was. He was in the middle of these lot. Just before I put the top dressing on, I shook this rose holding the stem, and he fell out wherever he was hiding. Well, it was underneath the leaf, so I couldn't bloody see him. Wales game. Tell how long since we've had a Zoom. Well done, boys. Right, watch this on Netflix. Anybody gets a chance to watch it. Superb. Jackie Chan, I like him anyway. Good lad. He does all his own stunts. Plus he's a good actor. But Boston film in the sense this could happen in the UK. There's 2 lots of special forces involved with this, which is why I liked it as well. But brilliant film if you get the chance. For the nose. The last Saturday I did down the shed, which was end of November, I borrowed a bit more wood chip because I'd run out. I was in the hound, didn't need to big lump out. And now that wood chip is going on the top of this hamster muck, which I used to top dress. Perfect. Well, it was perfect as well before the frost come. So that's that lot done. No, there's pretty cement everywhere, but it will be painted eventually. So at the moment I'm keeping all the gum off the wall so the wall dries out. So I've done that to there, so I'm gonna now go back down there, because don't forget, because of the slope of the garden, so that's 2 tiers, so that's dropped 2 bricks, then it goes down to there, then it drops again until you'll see in a bit. So that's what I've done too. So now I've just got 1 layer of bricks, but these are all loose as well, so I've got to cement them in. Well, down to me the last two beds. Am I moving that over? No, not yet. Right, having a quick perv of these, where I top dressed these, because I never covered it. Bloody squirrel come round again. Because I found a couple of these nuts in there. Because all this crap was on the floor. Obviously, you're going to pick that up. If you'd have picked that up and put it back on there, he's a good lad. I'd left him alone. But now he's made a mess. I'm going to clean that up and stop him from doing it again. I should have known better on the road. So back to the job I was doing originally. That's why I seen that, because I went to the shed to get this good strong wire. So them two have been moved from there. So that will cover these two beds. That's about an inch over from the end of that, same as this. Oh, you can see them better now where they've dropped. So them will really fly away next year, starting next year. And the chaps go in. Right, just make out the wire going along there, and he's right in the middle of the raised beds. Perfect. So these brackets was made for the job. I had them from Wilco moons ago. I also had this cheap roll, which ain't much copper or anything, but I've used it for on the floor. But I've got to use something now for that, so it's going in there as well. Nice sunny day, as we can see, no wind. Obviously got a coat on, was a bit of nip, still before the frost, but that's my workbench. Open him out, get the length I want. Cut all these off. I don't want that overhanging or whatever, and the hound going up against it. It's got to be nice and clean. If I got them sticking out there and roosting legs it up for a bloody squirrel as they walk across the top of this fence. Take the pea and walk along there and all. So them are nice and clean. I've gone in metal pegs again. They've gone in. So that is one length on them three. And the end one obviously goes a different width and size. I've done one on that one. So hopefully that's sorting my raised beds out before I make the squirrel. This one now, because he's going to run out of little chaps to find to dig up, I've got to cover this one as well. This is that weed suppressant from Wilco, which I sent away for. Because Wilco's got nothing in, so I had to get it off eBay. Well, their website, Wilco's website. There's also thin bits I had to get off. Because if I remember, the squirrel was digging these up as well. Where I planted me plants in there, overwintering, was digging these sides up. So them strips, about an inch away from the stems of the plants. Little horrors. Also, he's going to do exactly the same today. So I'll put a strip in there as well, on that side. Get a nail, sock egg, and go next door. And I thought, right, while I'm at it, I've got enough. Obviously, these two have gone in. There's 3 more fruit trees to go in. Next to me, my labels are. That's where I'm going. And then there's another raised bed to the side of the greenhouse where the rest of the fruit trees are going. So once these are in, he's going to start digging in here. So I've got my length out, and I've cut through there. So all I'm going to do, well, the same there, and then just move this wire up there. Yep, I can get him up there. That's what I've done. I pushed him up. Now he's against that. Now I'm going to peg these down as well. That'll stop him digging this lot. Obviously when that lot is moved, I've got to do the same again there. I was looking on the internet for something, and looking for some things, and I noticed one of these. 1966 Parents' Day Midpole, HMS Ganges. That's a film I took passing our parade. It come up on the front. I thought Gordon Bennett. It was a shock. So if I'm interested, 1966 Parents' Day, you'll see it. That's what I was looking at on the final floor we have. Because they said I was going to look after the mast, and they flogged it, and it's needing bloody brewing. Right, my next brew. This is Sultana rum. Normal thing, corks in a mug of water, and I put another cup on top of that. That'll weigh them down, so I'm completely submerged. That'll be for a couple of hours. So the water's soaked into the cork. Then once you've put your corks in, they dry out to the shape of the bottle. Perfect. So I do that first. There's Russian. If I'm in the kitchen doing something, that's where I sit. And there's obviously here. So I've got my bottles out. I've got 5 out ready. The less dregs you've got on the bottle, meaning when you do make the brew in your beer barrel, and then you've got to take it out. You've got to take all the dregs and the gump out. The more gump you can take out the bottle, the better, the more clear it is. I mean, there's some I've had and the dregs them up here, and you might only get 4 bottles out, but I know I can get 5 bottles easy out of that. So the less muck you got on the bottom, the more wine you're going to get. I've got 5 bottles ready and my glass. Try it. Because I always try it on the first dog that comes out. Because if it tastes crap, it's waste time bottling it. I've only ever had 2 that tasted crap, because those new ones. And it was a trial. One was cabbage wine, proper recipe for it. And the other one was onion wine, and they were vile. So I'd even put them on the composting. I wouldn't even give them the worms. That was in the recipe, the brew book. Some bugger does it. Not me, boy. So I've probably got a bottle and a half out of it. And you've got to make sure this is not on the top. Keep moving that down, but away from the dregs. So we get in there slowly. So I've had a sip of him, and he was a good brew, so I'm carrying on. We're about halfway up the neck, but I can always top up again with surplus after. Right, all I do is swiddle it round, and if it sticks to the side of the glass, exactly the same as a spirit, it sticks to the glass, then you know you've got a good strong brew. And it wasn't all. Me and the missus still drink wine, but I had a glass of this each. And some people, when they show the wine, how it comes back there. But the more you get in, don't forget that cork's going to go down to there. Just better for the judge, because he's going to drink that much. It's better for the wine as well, because there's less air in it. But as you can see, it is nice and clear. And what was in there, I poured in there just to fill up. So I'm halfway up the neck. Right, corks about and shook, so I've got all the water out, water harbours in the old and the plastic. Never push right in, nice and solid, and that's wipe dry. And the rest of that lot is rubbed in the glass. So two of me best ones is a sultana rum. Well, that's the one there. That's a recipe for the one I've just done. And some of these, add 1 teaspoon of rum to each bottle if desired. Now it says sultana rum. When it's a wine, if you add a spirit, then to me you're cheating. So, and there's quite a few. Say it, don't know why. What I do, that's cheating. You don't need it. And that's the next one I'm going to do, carrot whiskey. I ain't done this. I think it's going to be 6 or 7 here. So my new labels out off the internet, because I couldn't get them anywhere. We'll go again in, well, it's hard now that there's quite a bit of stuff. The shelves are bare, so I used to get the labels from there. So I had these off the internet, sticky, obviously. Perfect. And I need to get some more wine on the go. And them lot have gone into the garage. Got to replenish my gaps. Well, I've got all the seeds off these. So there's the large show onion and the 8-ounce onion, or the small onion, which are golden there. So you can either use them for show or for eat. So you can have large, small. You can start them off now. Small ones in the cold greenhouse. And there's a large chili seed if anybody wants them. It's for a long chili, which we have a class for. Right, during the week, what day was it? I can't remember. Would have paid a visit to Chris Evans and Neil Lands. They're obviously their allotment site in Wednesbury. Rowley asked me the day before about Neil's brew for his heavy cabbage, which was a good timing, Rowley. I had to go down and see these two anyway, take Chris's bag of rock dust. Neil and me on. If he don't answer, I'm going to talk through. Chris and me on. Talk through all on there. Right, Neil.
Neither of them are on, Mick. I've just checked.
Cheers, mate. Should have been. There's no football on. Buggers. Right, his comfrey brew. That's his comfrey. His plot edge is here. So I think he's got 2 or 3 plants. Might see more on the next. No. I think there's 2, yeah, just them 2 there. That's where he gets his come from, and there's hordes on it. Well, there's enough for him and Chris. But behind here, there's containers. We've got tools, equipment, whatever. But their muck heap is at the back of here. Huge muck heap. And you can see the runoff. There's a bit of a slope. The runoff, that's the runoff from the muck. So he's got his own liquid osmoc as well. And he's got to find a way of collecting that. That'll give him something to do later on. But that's his supply of comfrey. So he's got different tubs for different things. One's for nettles, one's for comfrey. and his other one he should have tore through tonight. But yeah, and I forgot. But basically he just throws it in. It's rainwater because it comes off the tops of these. And it doesn't dilute at all anything that goes in. So there's a bucket full of compressed nettles come through. And this is his big tank. And this is a mixture of both. And that was just one nettle he'd put in. And that's how long it's been in there. Was all the leaves off it are in here that have come off. And that's a bloody good brew. As you can see, the runoff from the greenhouse, the rainwater goes straight in there. And he just dips a bucket in and uses that as a feed. But that's all he uses. We'll see his cabbage in a bit. This is one of his greenhouses, and you just make out on the bottom, got his dahlias up. Now them are upright, look, whereas mine are on the side. There's other bits and pieces there. Obviously he's got heat on now because he started his leeks off. I don't think Neil does onions. Chris does. I'm sure Neil does. But this gas costs a bloody bomb now and all. Still, that's his hobby. Saves it going soft. If he hadn't got it, he couldn't spend it, could he? But there's his cabbage from last year. This is red cabbage, what he got the world record with. So these are down for seed, and them are doing well in there. One thing I was going to ask him tonight while he was on, was I put a little mark on it. If you supply us lot with any cabbage seed, if we need it. He's going to say yes anyway, so if anybody wants any, just let me know. Then I walk down Chris's, which is the gates down here where I come in. And here we've got a good setup as well. So this is his first greenhouse. So you see that's lined. I think he's just got heat in this end. That's why that's over the doorway. This is lined up all around the bottom anyway with bubble wrap. Extra protection aid. But that's his end there when he's got his made leeks and onions. But that's what I bought him. He had a tenner's worth of rock dust out of our trading shares. So there we're looking at, I've got a guess here, different colour labels, obviously, different brews. So he's got pot leeks, he's got blanch leeks, he's got little chaps ferreting away there on all. Don't know, call making the leaf out. But he has a few pot leeks. He does about 4 or 5 different ones. There's quite a few of the big boys obviously started off by now. The good growers and all. So he's got there's a pot leeks down for seed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. He's probably got about 8 pot leeks down. Probably about the same blanch leeks as well down for seed. I've asked him for some seed for Jeffrey, but he says he don't do seed, he only does nobody want to give me no seed. Anybody knows anybody, you can get a bit of seed. Obviously they've got to be an exhibition pot leek or a blanch leek. Just get a bit of seed for us. But he's got them lot down, and in these raised beds at the side, you can see he's got a green manure in. Obviously when he got his old stock up from last year, he then puts green manure in. There's quite a few who do that nowadays. But there's one still in the blanch leek. And that's the thickness of the chap. Still nice dark green. Obviously we take all this crap off. Whether he's going to eat him or put him down for seed as well, I don't know. But it's quite a bit he ain't got around to doing yet. So he's a biggie. Busy and want it all. Outside, so that's the way where we come in. So there's his second greenhouse. He's got a tunnel there. That's where we've just seen at the end where his stock is. He's got another one there. That's where we've just seen one of them branch links. And these are his cormorants. This is what he did last year. So his cormorants are still going, as you can see. There's a couple there, obviously before the frosts. And there's one opening up. So you've got to sort them out as well. Right at the end, obviously this is a mature compost, and there's one he's filling up there. But this stuff, he does use it as a top dressing and as a growing medium. But he hasn't got enough compost to do both. And what I was going to tell him tonight, if he was on, was because I've only got one compost bin now. During the growing season, I use the compost as a growing medium. But like now, when I'm not potting anything on, or from then, the stuff I'm saving then is for topping up the raised beds. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm sure you can do the same with that lot. Still. Right, my next brew. This is me wine. Through trial and error over the years, since I started doing the wines, I found out to get a strong wine. I mean, the goodies here, that's a good one. Demerara sugar instead of white sugar. This gives your wine an extra kick. Another one that gives it a kick, raisins, especially chopped or minced. And another good one for a kick, there ain't many wines with wheat in. That's another one with wheat. Because there ain't many places do that now. I think that was £5. The bag I had, that might have been off the internet. I think it's only £1 we need. That's alright. So them are 3 good ones just to give the wine a kick. That's why Cannas whiskey is a good one. And the Wilco, I had the last 2 packets of them out of Wilco. Because it'll be a while before they have any of them in again. Banana skins still in the rainwater, and I'm still feeding house plants because they're drying out. I'll give him a feed, leave him for a week. That's what they look like. And he's the best indoor plant. Right, preparing, like any job, the biggest job is preparation. I take the tops off, and if there's any dirt in there, I don't that crap in the wine. Any good bits like that in there, the hound gets them. Loves them veg. So all that gump when I've finished, straight on top of the compost heap, spread out. And the banana skins, chopped banana skins from the watering my house plants. Don't forget these are chopped up as well, the banana skins, because you've got more surfaces to go from the breakdown into the water. Same as compost, small ingredient better. Out of these, like when you just got to wash them, top and tail them, and then wash them. You haven't got to peel them. There's only that one that needed peeling. He was a bit naff, as you can see there. Same again, slice them, small strips. In this large pan, we've had that Moons now. I think we had this off the market years ago. Must have had him for when I started doing the beer originally. but he comes in for wines. Perfect. Well, and he'll be used again for Christmas dinner because we've got a few around. Got the kids back home. Probably Aaron with his chiclet. So he'll be in use again this Christmas. Then just fill it up, and he just filled up with the right amount of water. Bring him to the boil, and then just simmer him. Get the bin ready. Just pour boiling water. You don't see the steam coming off. Just pour boiling water out there, just in case there's any gum filling, dust or anything like that. Shouldn't be, because it may be too long since I used it. Then same again, slicing your lemon and onions. I mean, wheat, I think it was £1. Yeah, all I needed was £1, so I've got another £4 in there. I think there's originally more around the £5 and more I could get it. Because I can't go down the brew shop in Cradley, there's a bloke who runs it. I threw him off our side, unknown cultivation. He thought he could get away with it because he was a lecturer. Well, he was a lecturer, but he wore a gardener. Other subject. Right, warm water. Because I've got to dissolve all the sugar. And put my lemon and wash it in. Right, my raisins, looking at these, you're supposed to just throw them in like that. I thought, this, they'll put what? Then I got interrupted. Korea, Portugal, brilliant. Loved it. There's been some bloody upsets. And for us last night, poor Bennett. Didn't work up though. So, Korea went through as well. Right, I'm going to help them out, so I'm going to chop these raisins up. Just to help them out. Exactly the same again. Because you've broken into them, you've opened them up. So the goodness will go in there, i.e. the yeast, when it starts kicking in there. So that lot's bunged in, mixed up. Then the yeast just sprinkled on top. Luckily our boiler's here, so perfect for me wine. And it will be stirred daily. I think it's 2 weeks? Something like that in a road. Right, doing the paper run on the morning for the old ones. Up before the sun. Right, this is with the hound, obviously up over hill. We're up here over all the fields. And Dudley Cannas and put the Cannas out early on in the year. I'm still there. Me and him, I'm going to check, make sure them there every week. Because if they leave them in and get away with it, because I'm putting mine in next year, but mine will be up against a fence, so they've got a bit of protection. We'll come on to that later on as well. But these have got no protection whatsoever, meaning I'm right in the middle of that raised bed. So if they get away with it, I mean, I never noticed these last year. They might have been in last year, I don't know. But if they can get away with it here, then surely I can get away with it up against the fence. So we'll see how we do with them. Stirring daily. So I know, yes. House plants, cutting all the crap off. You'll see that there's a bit there. I'll just get the scissors and cut the crap off. Just hang him up, drain the chap. And that was, yep, 6 days ago. Still picking raspberries before we had the first frost. When you leave the taters in a bag for a month, that's what they look like, eh? It's great now. It's not nicked it. Elephant garlic, that talk I did up Fairfield, Bromsgrove for the West Midlands District Association and the National Society. always have a go on the raffle, and I won these. So I've dished these two, I've split these. I think there's 6 cloves in there. So I've given half of them two to the 2 new wenches, Joe and Amy, on our committee. Japan, they do well and all. Love it. World Soil Day 2022. Luckily, Kathy sent me a link to the World Soil Day. Never heard of it before. This was started in the Kingdom of Thailand in 2013. I'm going to send me the link because I've got a bit of spare time now as well. Because there ain't nothing growing, I'm not putting nothing on. The weather's crappy, it causing too much. And I ain't going to get nothing prepared, no talks, anything like that. So I don't know. Just think you know quite a lot. And most of the stuff was in there, which I'm doing anyway. Meaning composting, raised beds, no dig as much. And then, I mean, us being gardeners, we should know more than the public. I never had it at school about the natural chemicals or chemical elements. We had nothing like this. Or if I need to call remember. But there's 18 elements to do with us, the gardener. Oxygen, obviously. Everything needs that, as we do, for life. Carbon, you ever heard of that one, being a gardener. Hydrogen, potassium, nitrogen, NPK. The sulfur, phosphorus. Don't forget some of these are trace elements as well. You still need them, but not in the in small amounts. Magnesium, sodium, silicon, calcium, zinc, manganese, iron, boron, chlorine. So as a gardener, this is working with nature, don't forget. Nature loves these lot. 95% of our food is produced by our farmers in our soils. Now, I wouldn't have known that. Now this is newish, so whether it's come up because I thought most of our stuff was being imported, but it's 95% is being produced by our farmers, which is good to know. Hope it's true. Where is? But it's good. It's good to read. United Nations brought it out, obviously. Not started, but look after it. If you got your phone on you and you want to take a photo of that link on the top, just have a nose, because there's quite a few pages. There's got to be 20 pages on different things about the soil. And there's a few links you can click on as well. If you ain't got your phone or you can write it down, just email me or send me a message and I'll send you the link. Whistle the nose. Right, as you can see there, the cars had a good frost. Now, this was our first frost. So it's 5 days ago, isn't it? Now these were down to -2s, as you can see, good frost on the car. But these are still clear because they've got that wall protecting them. It's a bit blurred, but that's just coming out to show it was a -2. Me and the hound, I was looking up, so I went in the wood to have a pedal. And it says, "Trailer, what are you doing?" I'm just relieving myself. Turks are being a bloke, I suppose. Right, Cannas. Yep, see they've jobbed these. Now, also reading up on these, because I've got a bit of spare time now to read up on different things. So it's things I'm growing. Cannas, they haven't got to have a good frost, but well, I suppose they have. It's like most plants. All this lot is still growing away. Look at that lot there, and everything's growing away. If they don't have a frost, I'm going to carry on growing, which throws everything. They don't know when them good coming and doing. So a good frost, when I say good frost, I mean -2. I'm sure it's jog these. That tells the plant, you know, you got to calm down a bit. It's time to have a break. I think he's still got a flower on the top of it. But once he's had a good frost, then I'll sort him out. Right, Ben rung me up again. Says good how dances down our Zoe. He's put some cards in there because he does Christmas cards, Black Country Christmas cards, and postcards. But he wanted the same again on film. So I legged it in there, and there's his cards on the top. I think they were the postcards. There's quite a few places flogging his Christmas cards. Right, this was after a -2. All I'm doing is looking at my bin. Go back on. Don't forget all I've got round here now. Like, if you remember on the allotment, I used to have carpet around them for winter. Because it was open, we used to get the winds and the frost and everything. Used to got a bit more protection up here. So I've cleared the carpet off, or I've put black plastic on, black side out, so if the sun does come out, it absorbs the heat and the sun. Gives it a bit of protection that way. But this was just checking after a -2. I've got worms in between me carpets and underneath, boards on them. Meaning what I've done is protected them down to -2. So I know I'm alright there. Urban Cannas. Still throwing new shoots. Don't forget, these in the States, if they get good weather, like bloody Spain, you don't grow these all year. And these are carry on, because they've now had a cold check. So I've got to start jobbing everything. So I got in touch with my mate in Canada. He told me what to do. That's one I picked up. That's where my Cannas was. And I looked at that. Don't forget the drainage holes. The worms that are in there have come out. And that's where they've been. That's where they had a meeting. So I collected that lot up. Look at that worm casting hole. Good brew. I'm going to leave them there today. Look after the chaps. New growth coming up, as you can see there, and obviously old is dying off. But I'm going to chop him. And there at the top, got a new leaf. Right, let's chop him off. I sent that photo to my mate. I didn't want to chop these off and then find out I could have left them on. So that's the photo I sent to my mate in Canada. There was a proper grower of these, and he gets his own Cannas, gets his own strain of Cannas, flogs and whatever. But he's in bloody Canada, isn't he? So I sent him that photo and just said, does this going in a cold greenhouse? Does that need cutting down anymore? He says, no, perfect, leave it as it is. Preferably dark, cold greenhouse, but frost free. If it is in the greenhouse and it's not dark, so just put a bit of paper over them or something like that. So then I chopped my other one as well, and the new growth on that, I left that one as well. These lot, they got chopped as well. Right, with don't forget this is a privet. All the leaves have started dropping off. So I've got a bit overhanging my side. So I'm going to get up there and job it. As you can see, that's what I've been done. I've got my ladders up there. So I've climbed to the top of that ladder. It's just what I can reach. It's all the crap that's overhanging here. And that's looking from top going down. So that's clear now. Got all that crap up because it's bin day the next day. Any green waste now, because green waste collection's finished, I just put it in a strong black bin liner. Squash all the air out and put it in the black bin. They don't know. You pay your rates. So there, that's the gap. That bit that's overhanging there is overhanging east side at the back of me. So I can't get at that. It ain't going to affect me, so I couldn't give them notice. Right, our first -4. They did one of these for booms. So now, just 3 minutes away over here, we've got another green. That's where I'm taking the hound for a walk. I ain't going to find about clearing the car. Just to take a slowly good up there and all. But let's move on there. Fresh. Loves it. Right, this is at with a -2. This one, he got away with a -2. The -4, as you can see, it's chopped him or told him to slow down. Got a bit limp. So I jobbed him as well. So only a couple of bits of new growth coming up. Left them. Luckily Craig was doing some work for us done. He lifted that up for me. I was going to give him a lift between us to move that in the greenhouse. He already picked it up on his own. Good lad. Durban, love him. Because he got a variegated leaf. Right, -4. How we got on here? No worms in between the carpet, but there is a few worms underneath. But this on the outside, the frost had got to it. This was okay in the middle. The more you got into the middle, obviously, the warmer it is. But I thought -4, that's too much, so I've got to protect that again. This slot in the greenhouse, extra protection as well. So there's my paper. Got that ready. Because this has been in the greenhouse, he started throwing shoots again. Because it's warmer than what it is outside. Obviously there's no heat on anything, but if the sun is out, and he's just starting off again, and he was there. So these lot I've bought in, there's the peach, and there's my Cannas. To the side, for all the other little chaps, the dahlias, alstrameria. Chili con carne for a change. So I've got my runner beans from last year out of the freezer. Any that go over. And then I'm too stringy. I'll just take the beans out and freeze them for an occasion as such as this. I started thinking, so I've gone into my brain because I love fresh roe. Price of it gone through the blood roof. Plus, there ain't many fish shops do it now, fish and chip shop. I thought about tin roe, never had it. I thought, why not? It's just thinking of something different for the meals. And I googled it, and there's loads of places do it, like Iceland, B&M, Tesco's now. And I went down 4 of them. No, we don't do roe. I said, not for yours. I said, it's on your website. It shouldn't be. And nobody got nothing. And Ben was on the weekend. We're going some frames for his pictures out of charity shops. Shepherd's Help, where nobody wants them. And I thought, while I'm down there, I was walking down, there's a sandwich I see. And there was a little general store on the left. And the till was right on the near the footpath. Obviously, because the shutters was up. And that was right close to the footpath. And I just asked, I said, you got any tin roll at all? She says, yeah, in the back. I said, go on, Bennett. And they got these 2 last tins left. I says, I'll take both of them. So I'm going to have them during the week. I don't think the missus is too keen. I'll just fry it. Make my own batter. How come I've never had that before? Tin roll. Right, top dressing everything in the tunnel as well. Greenhouse stuff I've done. Raised beds, tubs outside. So I'm doing these tubs as well. Although they've got the protection of the tunnel, a -4 or something, it could still affect these if I'm open. So I'm going to top dress these as well. Done that. The only ones I've got to redo now is our mate up there. The blueberry is dropped as well, and my rose. This was put in this pot early last year, and that's how much things dropped as well. So at the start of next year, with he ain't so bad, but these 3, the start of next year when they start up again, I should just lift them out and bottom dress just to help them out. So there's top dress them 2. Just started top dressing in, which will be good timing. And the bottom one, this is my blueberry as well. Like he'll be taken out as well before he starts up again next year. I'll just pump some more in the base just to lift him up. Well, that's just to look after him over winter. So that's them lot done, sorted. Quite pretty look into here. This is the greenhouse, -4. So that was inside the greenhouse. So obviously it's colder outside. But the paper I've got over everything works. That's just taking the paper off and having a nose. And it does with it. So put it back on again. So far. As long as you don't get -6, 7 inside the greenhouse, I'm thinking that now. But we'll see how we go. Right, bin day. This is black bin. I'm cleaning out the garage on the loft now. And I use Evelyn's bin. It only gets 1/3 at the most. So I'm filling the bin up with crap as well as my own, obviously. And the mate's next door, because I can get it up his side entry. Well, I've just moved the bin and all the bags down. When I look at the stuff where I've moved the bags from, as you see, there's my green bin, exactly the same again. It's moist underneath, God knows where that comes from. Worms there. So I'm going to pick them up and all. If there were no frost, I'll put them on the raised bed, put them and frozen, so then go in the greenhouse some more. Alright, then Rabina, let's have a look at the chat. New shoots coming on. Yes. I ain't lost him. That's what please you, Andy. And there's the new ground for the hound. Loves running in this. Because we've had a 2-year now, and we had a Christmas 2 years ago when there was a pup. And they'd never been outside because there was a pup, obviously. So the first time had been out of the house. It was snowing here. And when we was going to pick her up, I says, I ain't going to trust it because it's all hills around here and the gritters ain't been out and all this crap. He says, well, I've got a decent motor sort of thing. All-wheel drive, I'll drop off. So getting Rosie to the car and then us having him, obviously I've got to go for a piddle outside and there was snow on the grass. So that's the first thing I saw, the snow. I knew it had a bloody field day. We had no snow last year, and this is the nearest to snow, and it must have brought back memories to her, just running around like a ferret. Lovely. But it does. Got his job in everything, as you can see. But I've got to look after the birds with the seed and the water. It's job them now as well, so I've had the last of my straws and my wasps. That was a couple of days ago with the moon. And you got a rainbow around it. You take them out very good there. It looked spectacular. And there's Russian. This was I've done the paper rag, we just doing our ice on ready to go for a walk. We just sat outside and we've been running around here. Just sat in it, loves it. It's this one or a later one, just in case it isn't this one. But I was on about protection before, being up against a wall or a fence, anything like that. Now this is frozen here, you'll just make it out. Might be a better picture later on. I can't remember whether it is, so I'm telling you now. But this lot up against the wall, the house, isn't frozen. It just shows you up against something, you get that protection. That's why I'm going to do my Cannas, probably 3 up either side. Lord, it's room 8, finding with your room for everything. And the alstrameria, these have had -4s, don't forget. So they go limp, and this is when the sun comes on them, and they pick up again. This was getting the papers in the morning. I tried to get that in focus, and this not, but that day won't. But we've had some fresh ones. Will it kill all the aphids off? Doubt it. I think there's 4 of these blocks out now. That means we've had 4 frosts. So obviously I'll top them up with a bird feed and then empty these. So they've got a drink as well. There's another. Anything decent on the Facebook, I'll nick it. We're on Christmas Day, 12 to 2, you're alone, pop in for a mince pie. You don't have to buy anything, your family. Good on you. I bunged this on before a few years ago, but it's a good one. Orchid like a duckade. Great nature. He made us 2 tickets for the World Cup final, 18th of December. He didn't realise that it was going to be on the same day as his wedding. So he can't go. If you're interested, you want to go instead of him, it's at St Andrew's Church in Chippenham, 2:30, and her name is Sarah. Brilliant. Obviously I've nicked that as well. Another one. No patience left on this vehicle overnight. This is horses. Sense of humour. He's going to slow down. Right, caring for bougainvillea in the UK. As leaf buds appear on the plant, needs good watering with rainwater if possible. So there we go again. If rainwater if possible, that means they know there's that much crap in tap water to look after their teeth or the kids' teeth. It's not very good for the plants, so you've got to use rainwater. Allow it to dry out between waterings. This is the same with most things. Don't let them dry completely. Also, it says when you start in the middle of April, feed your bougainvillea each week with a fertiliser with a high nitrogen content. High nitrogen. Don't forget, this isn't a flower, it's a leaf. Although it looks like a flower, there are little, they're classed as leaves. So anything, basically, if you give a flower, you think feed with potash, don't you? Nitrogen that one. Winter care in the dormant check them at time to time, healthy, cold months. We've seen all the before, same thing. The soil should always be slightly moistened to maximum. Pests such as spider mite, thrip. Well, if you look after it, you'll have it for years. Mine next year, because it was planted in the middle of the raised bed, we couldn't see it, i.e. the colour itself. So it's going in a pot. There's something else going there. Our coffee grounds good for bougainvillea. Slightly acidic soil. Fresh coffee grounds are highly acidic. Therefore, they're adding amount of composted grounds to the soil around the bougainvillea can be advantageous to the plant. So yes, don't forget, I use it on everything. So just give them a slight. You can to throw it on thick. Remember James Wong? He did a write-up. He read it somewhere and believed it. He said he did a trial himself. He said they did a trial with spent coffee grounds, and it was out in the Times, and he telling all the gardeners not to use it. And then what he was doing in his write-up, he said they put 3 inches of spent coffee grounds on a raised bed with a 3. No, Christ almighty. Just use your common sense. Use in proportion. Right. When was this? Was it yesterday or the day before? Jeff Wilson, as you can see there, National Veg Society. I met it. He comes from Middlesbrough. He did a talk up there, somewhere up there a couple of years ago. He come to my composting talk. No, I'm not in the National Veg Society anymore. I haven't renewed the membership because I'm still getting crapped on, but I don't need him to get on. So I'm not on their website. This is their website, obviously. And Suzanne is in it, in the MVS, and I saw this, and they said there's a good advert for you. Jeff Wilson has done a Zoom. I started doing Zooms on the MVS, and this is one of them. There's little clips. I watched it. I should have done. Suzanne sent me the link, but I watched it and it's excellent. He's a good lad anyway, Jeff Wilson, knows his stuff. So I watched it. I messaged him, do you mind if I put a couple of little clips, photos or whatever, on my Zoom? He says, no mate, help yourself. He says, thank you very much. So I've took these 2. That was the start of his tour.
And I see my own word contact when people want to check that out, get more information. And you know that Suzanne said that there's Zoom every Sunday on Facebook and there's a little bit more about compost. Come up there, Gary, you'll stand up.
That's the first bit. I should be quiet. The next bit.
We will go on to the lot of not like Nick Colton. Nick Colton made a science out of compost. Good for him. A very good speaker. Some of the stuff is wrong. And certainly the way of doing it. Hey, I haven't got the time to look. This works for me, but it did work for me. Getting over now and turning over compost.
Good man.
I tell you to do 3 days years ago, scatter the tea bags up to the compost each time. Turning it over, turning it out. The tea bags, the tea disappears from the tea bag. Tea is only really same family, it's just a barrel of there. So, breaks down. And something's going to force out. If you listen to this focus on force on compost, more people are thinking back to work on it again. And when you put tea bags in there, because it's such a time, a lot of it now, easy by now, it's going to be compost. Easy by, breaks down very, very quickly.
Excellent, thank you for that, Jeff. That'll upset a few people in the envious. You're monkeys. You also mentioned the compost tea. You started going about that. Plants are more active, taking up the nutrients from the tea and make them less susceptible to attack by pathogens. Nutrients and food in the tea encourages good microorganisms to grow. Pathogens can infect the plants because the potential infection sites are already dominated and occupied by beneficial microbes, which is what you want. When applied to foliage, nutrients are retained in the leaves and also released slowly, being available to feed the plant over time. This improves the plant health and whatever. But this is what they do in the States. They've been doing this in 20 odd years now in the States, using compost tea as a foliar feed and then a drench feed, because it runs off and then drenches, so it feeds everything. It coats the plants, and the farmers are not using insecticides or fertilizers, don't need it. So he covered compost teas as well because he uses compost teas. If anybody's interested in compost tea, this is what he's put up, meaning for me, this is obviously if you got a lot of land or allotment or whatever. But I don't even need 5 gallon. All I want is a gallon. So it'd be a fifth of everything. Well, for me to be 1 mug of compost and half a molasses. These are unsulfured molasses. You can get them off eBay, and liquid seed extract. We'll get nothing out. And Maxipop, good as anything. But it's got all the gumph there. You got to use. You got to use rainwater again because the tap water's got much crap in. Yes, Scott, mate.
Yeah, I was on that. I saw that talk as well. It was very good. It's just one thing he did say I thought was quite interesting. He uses black coffee as a
insecticide
for aphids and stuff like that. So I've never heard of before. So I thought I'd give it a go. But
yeah,
I thought that was good as well.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that next year.
Yeah, give it a go.
Can you remember the ratio?
No, he just said make a load of black coffee.
Make a black coffee
and just put it in a sprayer.
Yeah.
Don't put any sugar in it or anything.
No, or milk.
Well, you don't look after them.
Yeah.
No, it's natural, isn't it? And it ain't gonna do nothing no harm. That's it.
No, that's it.
Works brilliant.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, he must have done the trial if he's using it.
Yeah, and he was bigging you up.
Don't like the smell of it. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I sent it to Mick. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real. Right, Rushan's got a new playmate. Somebody local making deers. So we had one. Rose's new mate. Medical alphabet. This is when you used to get a prescription signed by a doctor. You don't get them anymore, do you? That's because the writing's crap in it. Jeffrey sent me this one 2 weeks ago. You'll see that obviously these, I think it's a poppy. No, that's where your seeds are. Because there's a weight has got in, it started germinating from the top. The seeds are starting shooting. Good photo. I don't know whether that's it on his plot or whether it looks like it. where he's nicked it. There's another little chap. Lynn sent me this one from down Starbies. This is an earthworm from Australia. Fancy seeing me in your compost? I'm bloody crap this one. Next door neighbour and have him. And this is a druggie. This bonsai one. Nice. And this is a photo I've nicked off the Cannas group. That's somebody chopping theirs down, and that's how they store them over winter. So yeah, been doing things right. There's something. I think I took the photo. Right, I'll put it on next week. There'll be another Zoom next week. I'm doing a few photos off a few chaps. A couple of sent some in. But somebody sent. I've nicked a photo. Somebody has say put these away, but instead of being in a dark place, it's a bit warmish. They got a bit of heat on just to keep that frost away. And they've started growing. I'm shooting up, throwing shoots. Just that slight bit of decent temperature. That's why they've got to be in a cold place and you need them to stay dormant. That's it all. I don't know how to put it on. That's how they put them away. And because they've got a bit of daylight and a bit of warmth, they've started shooting too early. Right, if anybody's on you gardening, if you ain't heard of it or ain't seen it, just Google it. There's loads of stuff on there. I've had quite a bit of them. If you find anything and you want 15% off, just email me and I'll refer you to get your discount. Or you can copy that link, refer a friend and mention. Right, this is a talks over November. Obviously, not many. In fact, that's my last talk. It's mid-November. And then my next one is mid-February so far. I've had a couple come in the last week, but not many places. And that's it, people. Oh, that's past an hour or so for us. And you've learned something.
Cheers, Mick.
Yeah, thanks, Mick.
Cheers, Mick. I've got to go straight away. I need to get over the pub.
Oh, thank you, Colin.
See you next week.
At least you ain't sneaked out.
No.
Have you seen one of these?
Hey?
They use these for mixing your compost.
Oh.
If you got a little bed that perhaps in your greenhouse border or mixed raised beds, you stick that an electric drill and
Chop your bloody worms up.
Yeah, all what it does, it just loosens the soil. I think it was in the Giant Vegetable Society. You saw one doing it in there. It might have been in that Facebook group.
You should use
and I went and got one.
You'll learn. Giant Veg. I should have get a talk down South Wales. He's gone, eh? Oh, I'll talk about that next week. Should have been down his place. Yes.
You know, when in the beginning when you showed your bed, when you raised up the little cormlets and everything, the freezers,
yeah,
you popped them back in. When I do it, like for the little cormlets, like all the gladiola cormlets I got, I just took like what's it called, like a flower pot. I cut it into circles about 3 inches and just drop that in to show where they are, so you can read around them. No, I mean, like the different sizes, and different bulbs. Then you can keep an eye on them.
Good thinking.
That's
I
it.
will write that down, Jeffrey. A to memory.
I think is as
Good
Nigel
idea.
Cole was saying, if you have them in a plant pot, you can start them off in the greenhouse, so you might get a month or two earlier, and you can keep them in the autumn to get a month or two extra growth out of them again.
Mm.
So you can extend the season a fair bit if they're in a pot. If you're prepared to move it around.
I dug up all of mine, and from the 200 different different flowers
Yes, Keith.
I had 184 left. So a few got eaten or something, I don't know. But the rest have all got different sizes, and even the cormlets got cormlets. So I didn't know that happened the first year. And they're
It
all
means you can
dried
get a
now.
bigger cormlet in the same year, that's all, just by starting it off a month or two early in the greenhouse and then bringing it in later on.
No, I'm going to do that this year because they're all going in pots and sinking the pots into the ground as well.
Mm.
So I've got a lot of those florist buckets of Aldi and Lidl.
Yeah.
So they go in there. And I'm going to put a few in just a raised bed. But I need to get mesh under there so the water rats and the water voles don't get eating them. So
You have vermin that we don't get, luckily.
yeah,
You water rat. Oh.
it's unbelievable there.
Right, peeps, that will do it for this
Cheers.
week.
Thanks again, Mick.
Okay,
Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Jude.
mate.
Thank you. And he's come back.
One of me
from Christmas.
lilies. Sorry, one of me orchids, Mick.
Oh, Boston.
Paphlopedium.
Wow, look at that.
Nice.
Right, anyway.
Right, that's in the raffle.
No.
See you all next
See you,
week.
everybody.
Bye.
Cheers then.
Bye.
See you, peeps.